Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey man, if they can sit here and strip Puello and have Puello out here in a holding pattern, although Puello is, my understanding, champion in recess, right? So once this whole thing with Puello and clomiphene, the banned substance he tested for, once that's sorted out, whatever, you know what I'm saying, then if he's proven innocent, Puello may get a crack at that 140-pound WBA title, okay? But that's neither here nor there. The fact is, they immediately reacted and decided to take some kind of action on Puello. Because remember, El Puello Loco was supposed to be fighting Rolly Romero. And he missed out on that opportunity to defend his title. And my thing is, if they can react so swiftly for a guy like Puello, right? Why can't they react and make a decision and do something more with a guy like Benn? Now, the thing is this, right? I do believe when it comes to Benn, I believe we've seen a chink in the armor, right? I think there's been a crack in the eggshell. If you guys don't get that egg joke, it's because according to some rocket scientists out there, they threw something out there on the internet and said that Benn had consumed eggs that were laid by a hen that was being orally administered clomiphene to increase the egg production rate. As a result, the eggs were contaminated with clomiphene. Benn ate the eggs, and that's how he got the clomiphene in the system. So that's all hilarious to me because it's pure bullshit. But what's not BS is that Benn is, you watch him in interviews now, they're getting to him. Like I said, there's a crack in the eggshell. He's out here apologizing to boxing fans about how his drug tests were handled, how he handled it, about the things he said. He's out here emotional in almost every interview. And I'm going to tell you what, man, the fact that he's out here apologizing, I never thought he would have apologized because he's a guy who shows a whole lot of hubris, a whole lot of chip on the shoulder, a whole lot of on the edge, what will he do next type attitude. And now you see it's getting to him. He say he wants to come home and wants to fight at home. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. When it comes to that whole drug test saga, if you're gonna sit here and put that kind of pressure on Puello, you gotta do it to Benn. And they're kind of doing it now, but it just wasn't an immediate decision. So when you look now at Eddie Hearn, and this is the other thing, that's why in different situations, you got to really understand the importance of listening a whole lot, and talking very little. Remember, Eddie Hearn came out. Benn's innocent, pointing a lot of fingers, challenging UCAD, challenging VADA, challenging the British Boxing Board of Control. Very mouthy, saying, well, he doesn't really care what anyone is saying about Benn in his future because he can fight anywhere. He doesn't have to fight in the UK. And that was their plan of action. That shit backfired, didn't it? You can't come out when you're in the wrong, right? And when I say he's in the wrong, what I mean is he hasn't proven his innocence. So he's in the wrong. Okay? You got the two failed tests, A and B sample. Maybe they both were contaminated, but let me tell you something. You can't come out and puff up your chest unless you've proven your innocence. And Eddie Hearn and Benn both were doing that. And then they said, you know what, we're going to fight overseas. Hey, that secret society came together on him, didn't they? They said, nah, anybody wants to help him train for a fight or go fight him, there are going to be sanctions. And talking about promoters losing their license, boxers losing their licenses, it's just not there's something that people want to do, and Eddie Hearn definitely isn't doing it. So now Hearn is still trying to, speak some things into reality for Conor Benn. But Conor Benn is backed into a corner. He's backed into a corner. He's gotta figure out what he's going to do. But I tell you what, it's so unfortunate that the politics in boxing allowed for this to just kind of linger on to the point to where we're at now without any resolution or any firm or swift action. And I think the way it's been handled has just been all wrong. At least with Puello, he kind of is like, all right, this is what it is. I cannot fight. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks. And he's got to sit there now and form his defense and get some answers together if he wants to fight. With Conor Benn, he was made to feel like, hey, you can fight, F them. We'll circumvent the system, so you don't have to give them anything. Now you see Conor Benn went from being like, I don't want to give them this dossier. I don't want to give them anything that I gave the WBC. Yes, it can prove my innocence, but I'm not giving it to them. I'm just going to be stubborn because I don't like the way they handle me. They hurt my feelings. Well, I'll tell you what. You look at him now, putting that pressure on him. And I'm sure he would have wished they would have just told him up front, hey, you can't fight. This is your ban, 1 year. And if you want that ban alleviated, just give us the evidence to prove that prove your innocence. So now we're sitting here looking at it now, and it's to me it's bad medicine. But I think at some point, when you're a boxer, or when doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not, right? Let me make sure I say it the right way. If you've done something that's wrong, and it's only so long you can go on trying to keep up with a lie. Now, I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. I have an opinion, which I think he's guilty, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What I will tell you is, at some point, if you're lying, it just feels so good to take a deep breath, blow it out and say, you know what, I messed up. And everything starts to get better immediately. Because now the most you'll get up front is people, I told you, I knew it. But other than that, there's nothing anyone else can say. The videos people are making, the way they're attacking him on Twitter, the ups and downs and the BS he gets from when he walks by, boxing fans, wherever he goes, all that stops. You know what I'm saying? Because now we got the answer. Okay, he did it. He messed up. This is what happened. And we're good to go. It doesn't make it right. But what it is it takes the people's their ability to sit there and argue and poke at you. They kind of take that away from, because like, look, I already told you I was guilty. What are you talking about? So basically you disarm them. You take their ammunition from them. And they're sitting there just looking crazy. Now, this whole thing about clomiphene, now people still don't quite understand what's up with the clomiphene, right? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, clomiphene is just a banned substance, man, when it comes to these VADA, WADA, okay? And that's just one of those substances that, Conor Benn tested positive for, Puello tested positive for, John Jones from the MMA world tested positive for, Brock Lesnar tested positive for. And let me tell you something, when these guys are taking that, it's supposed to help to increase muscle growth, and it can boost testosterone levels in people by up to 800%, man. So basically it makes you stronger and it gives you an advantage, especially when it comes to combat sports. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, man, for those who are saying, no, it's just something to help women who are facing infertility. No, there's so much more to it, okay? And that's why these guys are taking it, man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that when it comes to these athletic commissions, you're going to get a ban. And with Conor Benn, he's trying to avoid getting a ban, but they're putting so much pressure on him where they're going to squeeze the truth out of him, because he should have been fighting already. So we're going to see how long this kind of witch hunt continues. But it just shows you how the boxing politics work. Eddie Hearn has connections, man. The WBC has, we already know, the WBC, those guys, everything when it comes to boxing and sanctioning bodies, it all starts with the WBC. Then after that, the other three. But with the fact that WBC is behind Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn. You got all these guys, Conor Benn, Amir Abdallah, Eddie Hearn. I think the Prince too. Other guys part of Skills Challenge promotion. Everyone out there in Mexico this past weekend. There's all kind of discussions taking place about Conor Benn, trying to bring him over to the Middle East, have him fight in the States, bringing Canelo to the Middle East. And you better believe me, man, there's other things I've been saying here for a while, is that damn Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence going to the Middle East as well. You got all these guys over there, and when we talk about decisions being made, behind the scenes, key decision makers, secret society, if the fly on the wall could talk, I'm telling you, there's some conversation that took place out there in Mexico where we're going to see some things happen here in the next couple of months. They're probably going to blow your minds, man, as far as certain fights being made and certain decisions, especially how they're going to handle Conor Benn. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to come here now and swiftly make a decision when it comes to Alberto Puello Loco for his banned substance, right, clomiphene, but they should have done something swiftly when it comes to Conor Hen, because it just shows you, man, that people, they'll pick and choose depending on who has your back, who's your support system. They kind of pick and choose on who they want to single out and target. So for me, man, I just think it's unfortunate for Puello, but unfortunate for Conor Benn because he's in the holding pattern, and he's out here on TV now crying with his tongue hanging out his mouth, wrapped around his head, and dragging across his scalp. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Oh, that's precludable. But that's what happens when people out here, secret societies involved, doing things behind the scenes and trying to circumvent the system. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you this. If Conor Benn was innocent, and he knows he's innocent, and he can prove his innocence, right? Just go ahead and do it. It's like if I'm in jail, and I'm being in jail, being accused of murdering somebody. And I'm like, I didn't kill him. And they're like, well, hey, we believe we have evidence to prove that you're guilty. I'm like, all right, cool. Where someone got killed where? Well, right here in the state of Texas. Okay, cool, man. When? Yesterday? All right. I was in Massachusetts. I can prove it. You know what I'm saying? It would have to ask me to provide proof. Cameras in the airport, airline tickets. I was over here in this store, etc. Get the video, check everything, timestamps. I wouldn't sit here and play stubborn because you pissed me off because you arrested me and I don't like the way you handle me. Nah, forget that. I need to get this shit off of me immediately. And that's the thing with Conor Benn that just doesn't make any sense. And that's why I feel if he had something that could alleviate him from all these accusations, he would have shown it already, and he hasn't. So that being said, we'll see what happens. But the key takeaway from this, as Alberto Puello Loco, that man's champion at recess. But we're going to see how they play this. Because I'm telling you, man, when it comes to this goddamn secret society and all this boxing politics and craziness and corruption, don't be surprised if Puello Loco fights Rolly Romero next. If Rolly can beat this guy, then Puello Loco fights Rolly. That's all I'm saying. Y'all keep cool. Let's see what's going to happen with Conor Benn. Puello Loco, hey, man, it is what it is. Secret society is always at work. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm in the breeze.